I never thought I'd leave Australia. Never had plans to. I was like raised very conservatively, like couldn't listen to Alanis Morissette, couldn't watch Sex and the City, couldn't do anything. No parties, no nothing. I was really under lock and key. And then they let me move to New York when I won this modeling competition, the Ford Supermodel of the World, which we didn't think I was going to win at all. It was just meant to be for fun, and it kept going into the next thing and the next thing. And then all of a sudden I win this competition and I have to move to New York at 16.
That is
from
crazy.
From a conservative Italian.
From the bush
Exactly.
in Australia. I mean, that is a pretty big shock.
Welcome to the Future of Education podcast, hosted by MacKenzie Price. MacKenzie is the founder of a revolutionary new school model that's disrupting education through AI. Join us as we discuss the latest in education innovation.
When I say to you that my guest today is a powerhouse in many ways, I am not kidding. She first found fame as a supermodel traveling the world for Gucci, Valentino, Chanel, Dolce & Gabbana. The list goes on and on. Seriously, I could keep going forever. She then went on to appear in movies, TV shows. She was on the cover of Elle magazine, just the regular stuff like that. She's now a successful businesswoman with her own jewelry line. I'm wearing her earrings right here, and a swimwear line. And most recently, she is the founder and CEO of her own maternity line called BUMPSUIT. She has an army of moms that she is joining together in this incredible journey called motherhood through that organization. But what brings her to my podcast, she's the mom of 3 awesome kiddos. I am happy to introduce Nicole Trunfio. We are going to talk about all things business, entrepreneurship, motherhood, life, and education. Yeah. Nicole, thank you for joining me.
Wow, thank you for having me. What an intro. Thank you.
Well, you have been amazing.
I think as moms, we forget about a lot and just like focus on our kids,
Exactly. And we kind of met through that world of school, but I also got to know you through my brother-in-law and sister-in-law who have become friends with you. And the first time I met you, you were pregnant. You had a little one on your arms. You were running your jewelry line. In fact, I think that's where I was buying some second piercings. In fact, your store gave me a second piercing by you. So it was great. And you've done so much. But every time we get together, we just have incredible conversations. And first of all, I kind of want to talk just about your story of how you got to be you're managing an empire, not just at home, but with your businesses. So tell me a little about you.
It's funny. I think like having a family is like running a company in itself. So I consider that like almost like a company.
Oh, it is.
In a way. Sure. It's cool to like have weekly meetings and like make sure everyone's on track and everyone's feeling good. And
did you plan to be a model or did that fall into your lap?
Not at all. And I think that's really like, kind of been a massive part of my journey, and I'm so grateful for it. But, growing up, I was like a straight A student. I come from a poor family. My dad took us to the city because I come from the bush in Australia.
The bush.
To test our IQs.
Okay.
I don't know why he did it. And as a older adult now, I wish I could ask him what motivated him to do that.
I have a feeling he knew you and was like, this girl is smart. Something's going on with my kids here and I need to know how smart.
Yeah, maybe. Well, we have a family of 4.
Okay. So you all got tested.
We all went, but mine was really high.
Really?
Yeah. And I remember it's kind of like messed up because they were like, you can choose, to my brothers and sisters, anything from here down. You can choose anything from here down. And then to me, he goes, you can choose whatever you want.
No.
And I was like, I just looked at the top and it said lawyer. And I was like, I love fighting for things.
Okay.
And debating about things. And I love family. So I wanted to do family law. So that was the trajectory I felt like I was on.
Okay.
Making a decision. But then modeling kind of sidetracked everything and my life completely changed.
So were you discovered?
Yes.
How did that happen?
So randomly. I was just visiting my sister in Perth and we were out shopping with no money, like just window shopping. And this woman discovered me.
Really?
Yes. And she knew exactly who I was. Because all the people in my little town, I guess, would tell my parents, like, she should be a modeling. And I was like, no way, no way. I was like really under the impression that industry would be full of cattiness. It's such a different. Well, I thought it would be different, but then when I entered into it, it was like a bunch of nerdy, skinny girls that were kind of the odd ones out.
Oh, yeah, that's
awkward.
what I always think about when I think of supermodels. Nerdy, skinny girls, right? Yeah, exactly.
But I feel like they're like baby deer that really don't know how to handle anything because they're like tall and skinny, and we were also awkward.
So this sidetracked your college plans. Like you ended up going into the modeling world instead of college.
At the age of 15.
Wow, 15 years old.
Yes.
Now, what do you think, one of the things that at our schools, we are all about teaching life skills. Life skills are those critical things that we need in order to be successful in the world. So you were thrown into, a big industry, probably all alone at 15. What are the life skills that you learned from modeling?
A really important one, not actually from modeling, but if you come from a conservative, I think parenting is really important. And I consider school as the third parent. And I think what you guys are doing is so, so, so important. And really setting your kids up for success is finding a school that aligns with a life skills kind of mentality, because you're really like learning a lot and becoming unsheltered. Because as parents, we tend to shelter our kids, but hopefully support them, to be brave and be bold and be confident. But school really is their first kind of experience out in the world.
Right.
So my dad's Italian, very conservative. I never thought I'd leave Australia, never had plans to. And I was like raised very conservatively, like couldn't listen to Alanis Morissette, couldn't watch Sex and the City, couldn't do anything, no parties, no nothing. I was really under lock and key. And then they let me move to New York when I won this modeling competition, the Ford Supermodel of the World, which we didn't think I was going to win at all. It was just meant to be for fun, and it kept going into, the next thing and the next thing. And then all of a sudden I win this competition and I have to move to New York. At 16.
That is
from
crazy.
From a conservative Italian.
From the bush in Australia. I mean, that is a pretty big shock of culture.
Massive. And I was like, why can't I listen to Alanis Morissette, but I can move to New York? Because then I'm going to just
Did your dad have an answer for that?
You know what he said? And this is a really important lesson that I think is a really great tool for parents to use. He looked at me and he said, Nicole, you have a good head on your shoulders and I trust you. And so it created a standard, right, that I had to live up to.
Yeah.
Because I could have gone to New York and did what, 80% of young models go and do, which is go party, not take it seriously, not work, go get sent home, which happened so often. But my dad created a standard. And he believed in me with his expression. He wasn't like...
That is exactly what you and I were talking about off camera with the book 10 to 25, The Science of Motivation, Dr. David Yeager. Basically, his whole philosophy, which perfectly correlates with the school's philosophy, which is when adults provide young people with high standards, like I know you're capable, I know you can do this, and the support to go along with that. That's where the magic happens. So your dad really was way onto this. He's like the original Dr. Yeager.
It's really interesting now. I got goosebumps to reflect on that because that really was the foundation of my entire life. Like something so poignant and simple, and that's it. There was nothing more.
Yeah, you were told you were capable, and that great things were expected from you because of that. Just
even that trust thing. I trust you, but high support too. He'd call me all the time. He'd talk about finances. He'd talk about, buying property, not wasting my money on whatever everyone else was spending money on. And that really kind of set me up for success. And also, he, my school principal was like, you can come back as a mature age student, which in Australia is more flexible. Here in America, I think people really care about the college, everything that the school is so important.
There's a track that's like you get on the track and you got to stay on the track.
Yes. But in Australia, we are very much a lot of people leave it in year 10 and they get into the workforce, unless you're going to be like a lawyer, a doctor or something.
Sure.
But there's this saying in Australia, I don't know if it still exists now, but it's like expensive university student. Because when you hire out of university, your rate is much higher.
Sure.
And so we have this philosophy, which I think has really helped me in business, which is you have to sweep the floor in the company and work your way up. So while I was modeling, I was told it was a 5-year shelf life.
Okay.
And I knew that it wouldn't last forever. So I studied like at the New School University in New York while I was modeling.
Wow.
So I was doing every single topic I could get my hands on, but I got no certifications because I didn't finish school. I left halfway through year 11 because of this contract. I had to go.
But still, you knew that like you were building for your future. You needed to prepare yourself for that.
Yeah.
Even though you were enjoying all of the success that you were getting from the modeling world, you knew there was going to be something that would start next after that.
Hopefully.
Yeah.
I was hopeful.
Well,
yeah.
and then your modeling career has been very successful, and it's gone on quite a long time. I would say much longer than a 5-year shelf life.
22, yeah.
Yeah, 22 years.
Yeah.
So it's definitely gone on longer. And I actually think it's not just a coincidence. I think smart people who work hard, which you obviously had a hard work ethic and were very thoughtful about your career, are able to do that. Let's talk a little about how you became this business person that's not just doing a little of this or that, but you really have built a pretty incredible empire. How did you get into that?
Yeah, I think my dad, I come from a family of tradesmen. My dad was a fitter and turner. My mom was a hairdresser, but my dad constantly reinvented his career and built wealth over time by real estate, by building his own houses, by doing all this. And they built, wealth going from poor to, so I saw that as a child.
So was money a motivator for you? Is that part of what you want to make sure you had a security?
I think money is a motivator because I saw my parents fight over money when I was a kid. And I was like, if I have money, I won't fight with my partner. Which,
that's for another podcast.
That's subjective. But no, I think it was just, my dad, I think he's like, has an imagination. He's like an inventor. So I really took that. I was really inspired by my dad. He's no longer with us, but everything I do is his essence, So my forte is product innovation. That's where I really excel. And I think I've had all these different companies, like you talk about the jewelry. The product that I patented and created was the Universe bracelet, which is a ritualistic bracelet that you close and there's a mechanism that you lock it and you repeat an affirmation. So that was the foundation for the jewelry company.
Wow.
Even though Curated Ear and Ear Party became so big, that was it. And then with BUMPSUIT, it was like this really innovative layer, that I needed to wear because I was working, school drop-off, date night, whatever. As a mom, you're so busy.
Yeah.
You don't really have time to think about that, especially if you're waking up 3 times throughout the night, breastfeeding. My husband travels, so I didn't have that support. All my family is not there. So I created this base layer for women as just,
By the way, have you seen our head teacher in our kindergarten at one of our schools is rocking your BUMPSUIT.
Miss Charity.
Miss Charity.
Yes.
She is pregnant and she looks so cute.
Yeah.
And every time I've seen her wearing it, I'm like, this is a BUMPSUIT, isn't it? And she looks amazing.
Yeah.
And she was so cute because she's like, it's so comfortable.
Yeah.
It's so convenient. It's so awesome. She just loves it. So it's really fun when I was seeing your product being lived in one of our guides at school. It was very cute.
And that's the biggest thing is the comfort level. You don't have to think about it. And then the armadillo baby carrier was next because I had 2 babies and actually 3 because I was carrying my 3rd baby wearing. And there were products on the market that were really beautiful and there were products on the market that had high utility, but they didn't have both.
Yeah.
And so we really innovated that product. And we have 4 more products which I think we pioneer and innovate. That are coming out in the next year and a half.
Wow. So you really are a product innovator.
Yes.
Well, I remember the first time I saw you, it was on some sort of a YouTube show where I think you were doing cooking and you literally did have like a baby in a carrier. You had one toddler and then the other one was helping you, cook. And it was so much fun. You showed so much joy and just you were relaxed as you were doing all of this. So it's cool that you've seen that in your business. The other thing that I think is really interesting about that particular niche that you found is you really are bringing women together in this, common journey around motherhood, which is it's scary, it's invigorating, it's exciting. There's so many things going on. And I feel like you've created kind of this movement with women to connect with each other. Do you feel like that?
Definitely. That is really in the foundation of everything I do is to really unite community and empower women and community. I think sometimes going into the transition of motherhood can be isolating. So we want to just kill that completely and be like, here is a warm, safe space for you to exist amongst us, and we do our walks in Austin once a month, and we travel them all over America, and we also do events in our store at the Domain every Wednesday.
Yeah, congratulations on your big store opening in Austin,
Thank you.
Texas. You got to go check it out.
Yeah.
And you have a huge online sales thing, so
Yes.
there's tons of ways to get that. And BUMPSUIT's also in other stores, right?
Yes, we do have. We just launched on Amazon, which is exciting to join that
Congrats.
platform. Yeah, the pop-up in Austin, we're actually moving it to New York next.
Great.
So that's really exciting because that's our biggest community. But yeah, it's just been really fun. I think, and why we love it so much, it's just, I was thinking about it this morning and I was like, it's like the community, because Paige, she gave me a sourdough bread,
Aw.
2 of them, warm, out of the oven. Our daughters and kids had to make sourdough. So my kids came home with a sourdough starter.
Incredible.
From her sourdough starter, and it's like an epic starter. So for all those people that are really like big into their sourdough, are you?
I'm gluten-free. Actually, I had to become gluten-free when I got pregnant. I
Right.
never had any allergies until I got pregnant, and now I
Yeah.
am. But I used to love sourdough.
Yeah, I know pregnancy does crazy
Things
us.
to your body. I know, it's the weirdest thing ever.
It really is.
It is the weirdest thing ever. She actually, one of our producers, she actually almost died because she found out during her first pregnancy she had a vitamin D allergy, right?
Yeah, I have a gene mutation that wasn't discovered until pregnancy, so I was like stuck in the hospital for like 3 months.
Wow.
And, like when I had my baby, I had to go back to the hospital, and they were like, "We don't know what's wrong with you." But yeah, that was really weird.
It came
Yeah.
out from pregnancy. Isn't that crazy?
Yeah, no,
Yeah.
I believe it. It
No.
really messes you up.
Things happen. Well, so let's talk a little bit about, motherhood and all this stuff you're doing with balancing, because that's a hard challenge. I experience it, and my kids are older now, but how do you do it? You've got 3 young ones at home. You've got a super busy life. Your husband travels, and he's got a huge life too.
Yeah.
Tell me how you handle it all.
I think you have to, like someone told me once, you have this much in a day. Think of a glass of water. That's how much you have in a day. What are you going to do with that? It's just so great when the kids are really happy. As a mom, it makes life just so much easier.
Yeah. Well, I can tell you, having older kids, I look back on those hours spent driving my kids around, and
Yeah.
there was so much magic that happened in that
Yes.
time. Starting from when they were little, the conversations that you can have, and I think even sometimes just the fact that I'd be looking forward and they're in the back seat just chatting along.
Yeah.
That is such special time that you can make quality time.
Yes.
Instead of going into it with an attitude of, oh my gosh, I have to commute and I got to get the kids in the car and do this. If we just reframe a little bit, that can be a really special time. Nicole, you live a very big life. You've got 3 kids, and your husband is also kind of living a big life too. Tell us a little bit about who he is and what he does.
Yes, my husband is an icon.
Yeah.
Gary Clark Jr.
Any guitar players out there, musicians?
Yeah.
He is the. In fact, what was really funny is the school that we had before we moved into our current middle school building was a very, very famous music venue called La Zona Rosa. In fact, I saw Prince perform at La Zona Rosa, and Gary Clark Jr. is one of the murals that is painted on the wall at that school. He values creativity, right? And music and all of those things. So when you were talking about his interest in, seeing a school that really caters to that, I think that's part of what drew you, right?
Definitely. It's interesting when we walked into the first school, he was like, I've spent a lot of time in this parking lot, because his mom used to work in that building.
No
It was
way.
her office building.
Oh my goodness.
Years and years and years. We went on tour with Gary over the summer. We were able to do school, complete school, while we were on tour.
Not miss a beat on academics, and then still get to experience this incredible family time that you
Life
had.
skills, but different, right?
Because your family life
we
is
live
pretty
on a
awesome.
ranch, yeah. I'm like, we live on a ranch. They're just,
Too much to do there.
But I've never had them say that they didn't want to go to school or they didn't like school. They love it.
That's great.
It's a pleasure, for them. They really, really, really love it. They're excited. They're excited to accomplish these goals and, reach these. They get such great, what do you call it? The things that they do, like if they reach their goals.
Oh, like their
Mobile Squad.
Oh yeah, the mobile squad. Yeah, explain the mobile squad.
So Mobile Squad is when you reach your goals, you get to go on Mobile Squad, which could be anything, something really, really fun that all kids want to do. like every day.
Yeah.
If they reach their goals, they get mobile squad, which could be going to rock climbing or altitude or a really good like kids zone place, all sorts of different things. And my daughter right now, their motivation is Juiceland on Fridays.
Ooh, they get to go have a special smoothie. That's
Yes.
cool. Well, one thing
Yeah.
your husband might appreciate, one of our students who is in 3rd grade, for her mobile squad that she got to qualify for, she's a singer. So she got to go into a professional recording studio and record one of her original songs.
Wow.
And she was so excited when she told me. She's like, I qualified for mobile squad, and her mobile squad was unique to her.
Yes.
And she was so excited. She was the same kid who in 2nd grade was doing singing telegrams as her business.
Wow.
And she was making money doing singing telegrams.
Wow.
So it was cool. So Nicole, you had a non-traditional, experience starting at 15 when you went off into the modeling world. Your husband's a singer, has definitely had a non-traditional experience. You've got 3 lovely kids. What's your attitude going to be for them when they get into high school and they start, like discovering the thing they're interested in? Are you going to be okay if they say, hey, I'm not going to college, or I'm doing something else?
Yeah, definitely. I don't think that everyone has to go to college.
Mm-hmm.
That's definitely not a part of my philosophy. I think if you reinvented the college experience too, maybe.
We're working on it, actually. Yeah.
I think maybe. But yeah, I really just want them to be happy and passionate about what they do. And I think with Alpha, that's what you're really cultivating, is having the kids really kind of create their own existence.
Do you think that's connected, happiness, with having your passion and understanding what that intersection of your passion and talent is? Do you think those walk together?
Yeah, I do. I think, yes, I definitely do. I mean, I modeled, I had a really successful career. It's so glamorous. There's so many great things that I did, and I got to be with the most talented people in the world. Was I happy? I'm not sure. Now I'm so happy because I'm really doing what I'm really passionate about. And it's not as glamorous. I'm really behind the scenes, but that's where my heart lies. And really building community from behind the scenes and really like innovating product. And that's really where my heart lies. And that's happiness, a little simpler. So I definitely think that just living out your life's purpose. Maybe it's like feeling that you're on your path that you should be on, purpose driven.
Well, I will tell you, when I got pregnant with my first daughter in 2005, I feel like as soon as I got pregnant, I got hit with this sort of wave of like, I kind of call it worthlessness. Like I kept feeling like there's something I'm supposed to be doing. And I would talk to my husband, I would talk to my best friend. I'm like, I'm supposed to be doing something. And they'd be like, you're already working a full-time job. You're a wife. You're literally making a baby. Like, I think you're doing well. And I was like, there's something else I'm supposed to be doing. And, fast forward to 2014, that little girl that I was pregnant with was a 2nd grader, and I was frustrated at her school experience. And I was like, we got to do something else. And I looked around, I didn't see anything that was really fitting what I wanted. And so I started this school, and I really did it just to kind of help my kids, right? Like I wanted something for my kids. And now it's been, almost 11 years. And I feel like I am absolutely living my purpose. And I believe, looking back, that was God nudging me, that like this child that's inside here is going to change your life and help you discover your purpose.
Wow.
And so I totally agree with you. I think when we can find our purpose, that's what can lead to like true happiness.
Yeah.
And the coolest part about all of it is, my girls are grown. My youngest only has a year and a half left in the Alpha system. It is such a cool thing to get to watch that.
Yeah.
And I maybe I would have rocked a bump suit back in the day. Maybe I still could, even without the bump. I
I'm
can
wearing
still
one
wear
right
it.
now.
Oh, you are?
Yeah.
Okay. Then I need to do that. But I think your dad's advice really was so critical, and it does embody what we're all about, which is young people are capable of so much. And when we can provide them with the support and the mentorship to be able to go do big things, we can help them find their purpose too.
Thanks for listening to MacKenzie Price and the Future of Education podcast. If you haven't hit that subscribe button, now is the time to do it, so you can stay up to date on all our episodes. You can connect with MacKenzie on social media and be part of our daily conversation over on Instagram at futureof_education. For more info about the show and our guests, you can always visit futureofeducationpod.com. Lastly, if you're loving what you're learning, please leave a review wherever you listen to podcasts. We'll be back in your feed soon, but until then, remember, kids are limitless, and it's our job to unlock their potential. That wraps up part 1 of this episode, but don't worry, there's a part 2 coming soon.